Welcome to the Houghton Lake Public Library's series on using Windows 10. Today, we'll be discussing some terminology that you're going to be hearing throughout some of the future videos, as well as getting a sort of introductory sneak peek into what some of the future videos will cover. Don't be discouraged today if it seems like I'm covering things a little quickly or briefly. Like I said, this is meant to be an introduction, and each topic that I bring up today will be discussed in detail in its own video. So the first term I'm going to discuss that you'll be hearing me use frequently throughout all of these videos is the term cursor. Cursor describes the arrow that you use to interact with your computer. So as you move your mouse around, you'll see that this little arrow moves around. Now on my screen, I've made the arrow yellow with a black outline, and it's very large, makes it easier for you to follow at home. Yours is likely much smaller and white with a black outline. The next term that we'll be discussing, as well as one of the first topics we'll have in a future video, is the desktop. The desktop is the area where essentially all of the items go to on your computer. It gets its name basically from what you would expect as a desktop. You put things on top of it that you're using. And the desktop is this big square area, rectangle I should say, that makes up about 95% of your screen. And on top of your desktop, you can have programs running, you can have desktop icons. And actually, you can see here, we have a bunch of desktop icons, which you can also call shortcuts. So for example, the recycle bin here, Google Chrome, Microsoft Word, and PowerPoint. These are all examples of desktop icons or shortcuts. At the bottom here, sort of in this bottom 5%, is one of the next topics we'll discuss in a future video, and that is the taskbar. The taskbar is this sort of really long, skinny black rectangle that's about the bottom 5% of your screen. And this can be used to have more shortcuts, as well as the ability to see what's running and switch between running programs on your computer. And again, we'll discuss this in detail in a future video. In the bottom right here, you'll see the system tray. The system tray is where the clock and date lives, as well as a few other more system-related icons. This arrow here, if you click on it, will show more programs that are running in the background. Usually these are system programs, and you don't need to worry about them too much. The next topic that we'll discuss in a future video is the search bar here. It's the little white rectangle sort of in the bottom left of your screen, and this allows you to search for files on your computer. You can search for things on the web. You can actually search for settings in your computer, and we'll discuss many different ways you can use this in a future video. And finally, the bottom left here is the start menu, this little button that looks like it sort of has a window or a flag on it depending on how you want to look at it. And this is the start menu, and this is where many of your settings as well as your various programs on your computer will live. And again, to reiterate, this was just designed to be a brief introduction to these terms, and most of these topics will be getting their own full-length video in the future. So stay tuned for all of those future videos, and thank you for watching. If you liked this video, consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing to be notified for future content. Thank you, and have a great day.